there, my name is Juji. Welcome to my channel. I'm so excited for you to be here. This is a space for everyone and anyone who's interested in exploring personal development and relationships through the human design system. I have a guest joining me today. Her name is Yanna. She's a 5/1 single definition emotional manifesting generator, and we've been working together since about March of 2022. It started with a foundation reading. Then we worked together week to week. She came here to do a one-on-one retreat with me, and she's also a member of my women's group called the Beehive. So this is Yanna's chart. We've talked a lot about what it means to have emotional authority, meaning your solar plexus right here is defined. We've talked a lot about what it means to be a 5/1, to have that projection field on you, what it means to be a manifesting generator, having a motor connected to your throat center. And we've explored a lot about the channel 4037, which is really interesting because I just did a reading for George Clooney and Yoko Ono, and they both have this channel of community, which is all about making bargains. All right. I'm here with Yanna. Thank you so much for being here. I'm really excited to have this conversation with you.
So thank you for having me. I'm really excited as well.
So one of the things that you told me the first time that we met is that you had heard of human design. It had been sort of in the air for you for a long, long time. And March 12th, 2022, you just decided, like, this is it. This is the time. I really need to understand more about myself. Where were you at that point in your process, and what made you decide that that was the correct timing for you?
I was headed to another journey pretty much. I was living alone in my apartment after a breakup, and it's like, 2.5 years deep in Washington on my own. After like COVID, it's kind of dissipated. So, it was a lot to digest and a lot to overcome, moving somewhere and then having COVID hit and being here on my own and like getting kicked out, and like finding a place for me and my ex-partner. And at the time, like we had broken up in October, and it was very cutthroat for me. And I have a series of trauma around abandonment. So it was very hard for me to find like myself through that experience. I needed a lot of help, and I needed an arsenal of tools and modalities to help me overcome this just abhorrent pain pretty much, and I started researching every single thing I could, and I started meditating and asking for things because I really couldn't go throughout the day without feeling super emotionally low. I found somebody online, Everest Asher, and she had done an interview with you. I had watched a YouTube video because I just started watching everything that she had to say, and at the time it was very, very potent for me. And I was like, I haven't actually thought of human design in so long. And she posted that human design video with you. So I was like, oh yeah, that existed. I had reached a point when I was 21 where I was working at a holistic spa, and all these women were very talented with a lot of energy work and a lot of healing work, and also a salon. So I was like, yeah, sure, why not, like free human design reading. So But at the time, it was so intimidating. So this time around, I was like, yeah, I really feel called to book with you and to explore this realm and see what I can do, because it felt like I would know myself much deeper. The amount of pain and the amount of destruction that was happening, like I really needed to understand why that happened for me, and how I could pretty much not be in that situation ever again. So
is there something that you heard in the first reading about yourself that really helped you understand what may have gone on with that, or something that was comforting? For example, like understanding what it means to be emotionally defined. Was that something that, I mean, I just know from experience that most emotionally defined people with, solar plexus authority are blown away by the permission that they feel from understanding that about themselves. So can you sort of, transport us back to that moment?
I think that my demeanor shifted so much from the beginning of that call. I think I looked like a freaking zombie when I got on that call. My like face was just like full of dread, and I was like, okay, like let's do this, like help me. So learning about the strategy and authority part was super helpful, because it was definitely, decisions are everything, and how, I felt really lost in that, because I always grab onto so many different parts of what is possible and I have lots of ideas. So it helps me just kind of draw myself in and ground myself to like, okay, prioritizing me and like learning to basically go through my emotional wave and to also ask a bunch of questions, which no one has ever told me that it's okay to be emotional. And it was huge, because and it was huge to find out that um you had told me that you just go through these things, like you have ups and downs, and that's totally out of your control, and you don't have to blame anyone to that. You don't have to attach anyone to that situation and draw all this energy to what they did, because they're not part of it. It's just me and my emotions, and being able to sit and be reserved within and like to create on my own and have that space um really means a lot to me, because I was definitely um, searching for why I felt so emotional and what was wrong. And every time I linked it to somebody or something that happened, when it's just truly, now that I know that and now that I've been practicing that, it's really like just energy. And that's been helpful so much with decisions, because I would try to initiate and I would attempt to um, just make decisions way too quickly, and then be in a situation that wasn't really meant for me. And I ended up feeling really, really drained emotionally and physically and mentally, all the things. So um, it was really profound. The first one was really profound, just because of simply learning about emotions.
Right. Well, I do remember talking a lot too about being this fifth line heretic and how, there's a projection field on you that, you are this person who people turn to when they're in crisis. And you said something very interesting to me. I wonder if you can remember this. You said, yes, they're allowed to be in crisis, but I'm not.
Mhm.
And I wonder if that set anything in motion for you when it comes to how you relate to other people and how you relate to how they see you now.
Totally. I felt like the fifth line was super aligned. That was, yeah, that was like, oh yeah, totally. I've done this all my life and I've been projected on all my life. Um, and yeah, like anytime that, I got used to seeing what was going on if I was expressing my emotions. And a lot of people walked away or didn't like it, so I just stopped expressing my emotions and I stopped um, explaining myself and how I felt and why I felt that way. And I would just take on other people's emotions, and I would be the one that listened. And it has been really difficult because I had to learn a lot of things by myself, how to deal with things by myself. But all in all, like it really brought me closer to nature, which um, I feel super connected to, like the feminine, like Mother Earth, to solve those problems for me. Because if I just wait and if I just feel into the earth, it makes a lot more sense. So, there's nothing to say that's like awful about that, but I definitely super resonate with it. And uh, yeah, being a fifth line is totally who I am.
So, what I wanted to ask you about is we started working together after that first session, and we went through a lot of different parts of your process, but it wasn't until you came to see me at my home, because I do one-on-one retreats with people, that we really actually had the opportunity to dig into your ex's chart. And I'm very glad that we waited because, you deserve to understand yourself first and foremost. This isn't about him, but once we did sit down and look at this 3-5 triple split emotional double barrel manifesting generator, that you really had the opportunity to let some things go about what happened between the two of you. So, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So being able to look at anybody's chart, and especially my ex's chart, it it gave me this energetic map, which is what it is. That certain things are just ingrained and unconscious, and certain things um, are just not, just not changed. You can't change that. Um, and it gave me a lot of peace to see we all 9 centers were pretty much fully connected, and to know that it can be super suffocating for a triple split to be connected to somebody like me. I'm a single definition, so knowing that, yes, it's very comfortable, and it's totally has been, like, it's like the most natural thing, like living together, you know, all the things we did very similarly, and similar music, similar tastes and life paths. There was definitely this suffocation quality that, you know, I had to explore with myself, and to see that, and to see, you know, how much I really needed at that time, and uh, pretty much not having any other network or friendship group around me. I just kind of went into this one relationship during COVID, and it, you know, I could see all those things poking out, you know, like my needs and his needs were not really, I wasn't seeing why he wanted to go out and to converse with um, other people, or, you know, why it was other things that didn't seem to matter to me, why it mattered to him. So it gave me a lot of peace in that sense to see that. And also to know that he has the channel of mutation, and to know that his decision process making was very challenging for me, because I move quick. I have the, you know, left angle cross of migration, which I feel is very, it speaks to me, because I don't like being in one place for very long, but his was much quicker than mine. So it was like, well, I have this idea and this idea. And I was like, well, if we're sticking to this, then shouldn't we see it through? And then it would just throw me off entirely. And there's also his channel of judgment, and then my channel of,
It's the
you
channel
know,
of community, the channel of the bargain.
the channel of community and the bargain. That's the one. Like, I knew that I was giving so much and giving my all, and it was the first time ever that I had done that and been in a monogamous relationship, and really wanted to pursue that. And the bargain wasn't really being met for me. I didn't feel seen or heard, or, you know, like I was doing, or that I was getting the same back. But just noticing, like, um, just noticing the whole greater picture, and the cohesion between us and the differentiation between us, it did give me a lot of, like, answers to my questions, and let me see myself, and let me see myself and my immaturity in, like, a lot of different ways. But also knowing that, you know, the channel of the bargain is, like, the main one for my chart, and it's really, really important to have really quality connections. So, but yeah, you know, I definitely worked on forgiveness a whole lot. And I feel like that was a huge milestone in the ability to forgive, um, because certain things are just ingrained in you, you know, it's a system.
Well, I feel like we all have this perception that in order to forgive, somebody has to apologize. And that apology may never come, but it is a huge weight lifted off of us when we are able to forgive. And part of that forgiveness is seeing the charts and seeing the helplessness of it all. And bringing awareness to it gives us the opportunity to take responsibility for our own role, and then see what the other person might have been experiencing that we had no idea about because we didn't have the language to communicate it with them. One of the things that I feel that people are afraid of is this term, taking responsibility, because it sounds like what I'm saying is you're here to shoulder all the blame. But it's not about who's to blame. So is there something in that that you feel was freeing to you when you were able to see it for what it was?
I mean, yeah, I think that, it was just letting go and surrendering in general to the fact that um, there there's always a reason for anything to occur that is what people say is a lesson to you. Yeah, I just realized then that if this didn't happen, if I didn't have this like breakup, then I wouldn't be here in general. I wouldn't have been on that mountain. I wouldn't have reached this bliss state. I wouldn't have had this connection with you. I feel like the blame, ended there, and then seeing the chart and seeing like the aha and the like epiphanies of that, I was like already, I don't know, maybe like 10% seated, and then it just like filled up the percentage level, just like, oh yeah, I understand that, I understand how like love wisdom has come through, so it did release a lot for me. It was a process, but it really hit the mark, especially when I came and visited you.
Yeah, I feel like our perception of love and relationships has a long way to go. And it's so, I feel so much joy in being able to communicate what I have learned about it through this system, which is not what, the supposed goal is. It's really more about loving yourself in order to then be more available to others for a love connection. And that's not, really something that we hear a whole lot about when it comes to how human design is being perceived in the world as this, awareness tool. So I just want to round this out by asking you about your continued deconditioning process, because I've watched, just, you're right. The first time we met, you were very quiet, very like the body language was totally different. It was like hood on, all of that. I don't think you cracked a smile the whole time. And, for me, it's challenging because I want to, I want to see how it's affecting you, but I also know that it's not up to me. It's like it's coming through me, and this information is very powerful and it's doing its thing. I don't need to interfere with it as much as my mind wants to tell me that it should or could. And since then, I've watched, your posture change, your energy open up, your facial expression relax, and then, the smiles and the jokes and the intimacy has grown, obviously. So how do you perceive your deconditioning so far? And can you tell me a little bit about why the beehive specifically is a part of that process for you?
Deconditioning really just stems from pretty much the ability to be okay in the moment and to wait to respond. That was huge for me. I definitely let a lot of inconsistent, useless thought to um, evade my system, because knowing that I have the open ajna and the open head, and knowing human design's not, your mind doesn't make decisions for you. So just allowing that huge amount of information to just let all of these thoughts go, like that in general, allowed a lot more focus on the things that I love to come through. And it's actually a lot. When I think about it, thoughts are crazy, and just allowing them to pass is the thing that we should have learned from a young age. But I think that also being able to see my relationship with others in my family, and to see their chart, and to see um, like why they are who they are, and what won't change and what will change, also really helps, because I could just let go of the whole storyline that's just been eating up at me for a long time, and to really kind of hone in the skills of being a heretical investigator. Just knowing that, yeah, like, it's okay, like, everything that happened brought me here, and yeah, every single time I see my chart, and kind of just, I learn so much more just reading like a certain sentence about, just channels or anything. I really, uh, because of it, I really started focusing on music more so than any other time. And there was this huge block and this huge trauma that was linked around music. So allowing myself to really like break through that was huge, and to freely be able to channel my emotions into my art, into my music, really is like where the deconditioning is happening, because you know music, it led me to the alchemical process, of the 7 stages, and just like being able to really like take all of this dross and this material and this heaviness, and just allowing it to pass through. So there's, yeah, this process has been huge, and knowing that like my throat is defined, and that pretty much everything is like leading to my throat, which gave me a lot of peace, that music is the path for me. And not only music, but just like trust my voice, trust like my expression. Don't ever like hide that, and it was just yeah, it was just like it added so much to me being able to create and do art again fully. And the beehive, I didn't know what to expect at first. I just know that you said, yeah, join the beehive, you're the only like 5'1". So I was like, oh, okay, this would be interesting. And just learning, and practicing, hearing other people, what their design, because in general, like this whole system is to gain like love not only for yourself but for others. Just being able to practice that in the beehive and to learn about others and how they are emotionally defined and how that is different for me, and it's just been pure joy to be able to connect with people like that, and to like freely express in such an eclectic group of human beings. Yeah, I feel really fortunate that I fell into this, like, this beautiful group of humans. And yeah, I'm like in the right place.
Definitely. It is a very eclectic group. I do appreciate that about all of us being in different stages of life, different stages of human design experience, different places in the world. We're sprinkled all over the place. So I really do appreciate that. And I really appreciate your contribution to all of it. You know, I always feel like there's a level of depth that comes out whenever you are sharing your experience. And it really is it's really such a blessing to have you. So I just wonder if there's anything else that you wanted to express before we wrap it up. Any last thoughts or comments?
I just feel super charged. I feel uh, very content. I feel that, um, yeah, I'm just like full of gratitude for it. I think that, anybody, like, I'm a skeptic. So when it comes down to theories and you know, like being able to dive into some type of course that can be strange and obscure. And I would just say from, I do have the channel of experience. So I like to, I like to tell people like, hey, just try it out, and see how you feel. And see if it's really aligned to you, and see like just in general how you make decisions. Um, like if you could just follow the strategy of like who you are first, like there's no harm in that, and just seeing how that affects your life. I think that's like where to start. But yeah, getting to know other people and getting to love them is super important in this system right now. And just like healing your own wounds. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm just super grateful.
Aw. It's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your experience, trusting me, for trusting me.
Yeah, totally. You're so fun. Yeah.
It's
You
just,
really add so much fun to it. It's like, it's so like rewarding to like dive into something intimidating with like so much fun.
I think that's the first time anyone said it was fun.
Yeah, totally. You're hilarious.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been an honor and a privilege, and I'm so happy that we connected through this process. I'm so glad that you are just opening up and expressing yourself in ways that you never have before. Like, I'm just so excited to see, the art that comes from this experience, and just like the person that you're stepping into, this power that you're stepping into, because it is a powerful chart. It's a very powerful chart. And, you know, it it's going to it's going to unfold in so many beautiful ways that you and I can't even imagine quite yet, but we caught a really good glimpse of it in this process. And I just feel so blessed to know you and to be here on this earth with you.
Likewise. Yeah. And yeah, we have like the most perfect little spot in the mountain. It's like, it was so cool to just get to know you, like, um, the second or third time, just being able to be immersed in it, is very special. And um, yeah, all of it has been super great, and I'm very honored, and I like, it feels so good to know I'm in the right place at the right time, to be able to like meet you and everybody else, that's a part of it, and to know how many people are actually activated in it. It's like, it's huge, it gives you a sense of peace that, people get this, people get themselves, it's cool.
Thank you so much for being in this interview with me and for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And until next time. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I was so happy to get a chance to talk to Yanna about her journey. If you enjoyed this, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. Please also comment below if you have any questions about human design or anything else. You can follow me on Instagram as well if you want to get in touch at HD by Z. And you can find me on my website. My link will be down in the show notes. There you can see that I do individual human design readings, a relationship mentorship program, and I run a community for conscious women called the Beehive. If you'd like to receive a reading with me about your relationship or get an introduction to your chart, feel free to book a Zoom call appointment with me. I'd love to work with you. Until next time, ciao for now.